What is going on, pro Overwatch fans? Welcome back to the channel and to another Overwatch League news video. And today we got some more information from another community update about what's to come with Overwatch League Season 5. And while a bunch of the information that came out is rather basic, there are some very interesting things to note and some things you may have missed as well that I wanted to highlight. So buckle up and prepare for a little recap of what went down earlier today. Let's get a few of the little basic things out of the way that we kind of already knew about. So first and foremost, as it was stated yesterday, all Overwatch League teams now officially have access to the PvP alpha for Overwatch 2, which gives them approximately 2 months to prepare for the start of the year. Now granted, that's not a ridiculous amount of time, but it is pretty adequate overall, and because they kind of already have the fundamentals down of Overwatch, they should be just fine in this transition. Also worth noting with this alpha is that Sojourn will be available to play, which means that after all of these years, unless she's a terrible hero, we will get to see the Overwatch League and all of their players utilize a brand new character. The final noteworthy thing about the players using the alpha is that the league will try and go towards new updates for the latest balance patches whenever the schedule has some sort of break between tournament cycles. They're not going to update the game during that. Obviously, that wouldn't be fair. They never really did that in the past anyway with Overwatch 1, so obviously this makes a lot of sense, but it's also cool to know that the game could get updated over time, which means that we might see some cool tuning here and there. Another thing revealed to us ahead of time before the start of the season is the 2022 map pool, and it is subject to change potentially, but as of right now, what we're working with is 12 different maps, and it's kind of understandable to me. It doesn't really seem like a lot on the surface, but this is a beta/alpha, so we shouldn't have everything all at once. And if that wasn't enough, they're still working on a brand new map type to replace 2CP, so right now the new push game mode only has 2 maps available in Rome and Toronto. Then with Control, we've got 3 maps with Ilios, Lijiang Tower, and Oasis. Hybrid's gonna have 3. We still have Classic, King's Row, and Eichenwald, but also Midtown thrown in there, a brand new map. And then Escort, surprisingly, is going to have the most maps out of all of the different types. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but that's what we're doing. Fingers crossed that we get to swap out some maps here and there or add some different ones into the pool. I think it might get a little stale. I don't mind it because, again, we're kind of just in an early build of the game that isn't even complete, but I really would like to see some refreshing maps once in a while. Either way, that's what we can look forward to as of right now with the map types. So moving on from that now, the next thing to discuss that I actually found very interesting is the full season schedule. That has been revealed for the public to access on the Overwatch League website. I will leave a link to that in the description if you want to check it out for yourself and circle down some key dates for exciting looking matches, and if you support a certain team, you can check out all the matches they're playing. All of that is now available. As for the 2 main takeaways of the schedule that I came across, one is that we're actually going to get a brand new month of Overwatch League action that we've never had before in November, simply due to the fact that we're starting a month later than usual in May. The season doesn't end till early November. Like, that's so crazy to me. We even get games on Halloween, I believe, so that's pretty epic. I can actually sit there and say, I'm not being a loser on Halloween without my friends. I'm watching the Overwatch League because it's kind of my job, forehead. The other interesting thing I noticed is that teams won't always be playing 2 games a week. There's going to be times where they only play 1, which is something that I like, and it's not something we've seen in quite some time. I feel like usually we're used to everybody playing 2 nowadays, but going to 1 is going to make it a bit easier on the players and the coaches. Only having to focus on 1 game and prepare on 1 game at a time in certain weeks will lead to more rest overall. And additionally, of course, just like with last year, after every single tournament, I believe there's going to be an off week for everybody, so that's even more rest for the guys to look forward to. And while this doesn't necessarily have to do with the announcements that we got today, I thought I'd slip in here that the Paris Eternal are actually going to be playing from North America this year. They won't be playing on higher ping, which means that they should, in theory, be able to put out an even better performance for us all, so that's cool. We'll see how they do when they play the San Francisco Shock in the very first game of their season. That'll be something to circle on the calendar for sure. And of course, this is only one of many, many games to look forward to throughout the entire season. We could sit here all day long and talk about which games look good on paper and whatnot, but we'll save that for a different day. In the meantime, tell me which games you're looking forward to the most down in the comment section so far. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Aside from scheduling though, I want to move on to some of the other details that were maybe left out from the public unless you're looking at the Overwatch League website in the article they posted regarding the community update. Thing number one you may have missed is that there will be no replay viewer available for the public this year, for the entire season too. That's very unfortunate, especially for people like me who like to create best player on every hero videos, and for other people who like to do individual VOD reviews. All of that really sucks, but on the other hand, it's understandable since we don't even have the full game yet. Why would everything be ready yet? We don't want anything to get rushed out or for any sort of super buggy things to happen. We want them to take their time and give us a good, polished product. If you're wondering if that means that the Overwatch League is not going to have access either, you'd be wrong. They still do have access to the official replays for their matches, so you don't have to be concerned about them practicing and VOD reviewing and all of that good stuff. They're still going to be perfectly fine in that regard. The only people that really suffer in this instance are us, the public. That's it. So generally, that's a pretty big bummer, but hey, what can you do? Now for the other thing. The other interesting detail that was left out from the video that they didn't even include in the article is that hero pools are not going to happen this year. This information was actually revealed on Twitter by Sean Miller and Mr. X because it was a question they were getting quite frequently. As for why they decided to reveal this on Twitter but then somehow forget about it in the video and the article, I have no idea. But yeah, hero pools are not going to be a thing. I'm sure a bunch of you will be rejoicing over this fact, and I think that this is probably the best course of action as well. Overall, I tend to think that hero pools can be enjoyable at times, especially as the system has gotten refined over the years. I think that can help make the meta a bit more interesting and entertaining overall, but since we're heading into a brand new game, I don't really think it's necessary. It is extremely doubtful that everybody is going to play the exact same composition all the time. There's probably going to be a lot of variance as teams try and figure out what their strengths and weaknesses are in a brand new game. This especially becomes the case if we get somewhat frequent balance patch updates, as that enough alone, along with it being a brand new game, should be enough to hold these players over and not have them play the same boring thing over and over again. Everybody already has enough on their plate as it is. There's a brand new game to look forward to. The Overwatch League is starting a month later than usual, so there's a lot of extra stress going on. It's a kind of a make or break year in a way, and there's traveling on top of all of that, so this is the right move, no doubt about it. That's essentially everything that got revealed in this Overwatch League community update number 2 though. There's not a ton to it, but I definitely wanted to make this video since there are some things you could have missed if you weren't paying attention to the Overwatch League website, or even on Twitter for that matter. There's still some questions up in the air for sure, and hopefully we get some more information very soon. But that's gonna do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed this, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to keep up with all things Overwatch League news related, and be sure to let me know what you think of all of this down in the comments below. And until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.